Thanks for staying with News at Prime tonight. The ANC caucus in Parliament has agreed to support the process to set up an inquiry to deal with the removal of Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane. On Saturday, the ANC Chief Whip, Themba Godi, said the caucus discussed the matter at length. The statement from Majodina comes after some ANC members publicly said they would not support a motion from the official opposition to remove Mkhwebane. For more on the story, we're joined by former SCOPA Chairperson Themba Godi, who believes there's no ground to remove the Public Protector. Mr. Godi, good evening, and thank you so much for your time. Firstly, let's talk about just your general views on this process that is unfolding in Parliament.
Yeah, I think from the very word go, after the CX report judgment, when they were clamorous for the Public Protector to therefore be removed, we have stated consistently that we do not believe that it is the right thing to do, looking at the broad spectrum of the work that she has done, the work that she's doing, and that it is informed by a very subjective approach. Firstly, from the Democratic Alliance that has never supported her even for a single day, and secondly, from some elements within the majority party that feel aggrieved by some of the cases that she has taken up. So where we are today, where the DA has now formally, in terms of the law, made a submission, and this submission has passed stage 1, and it looks like it's going to stage 2, we still maintain that when we look at the totality of the work that the Public Protector has done and the general thrust of her work, we do not believe that it is the right thing to remove the Public Protector at this stage.
Of course, Mr. Godi, one of the big issues here for why Parliament is continuing to pursue this is because of the findings of the independent panel into whether or not the Public Protector has a case to answer to in terms of the work that she's done since being in office. It said that she had a case to answer in as far as misconduct and incompetence were concerned. Surely, Parliament has a duty for, in particular, to the South African public to be able to hold that inquiry so that if she is cleared, that can be the case. But the fact that you have senior counsel in this country saying that she has a case to answer to, why is that not ground enough, according to you, for Parliament to implement the recommendations of that report?
Well, there are two aspects here. Firstly, the calls for her to be removed preceded the report of the panel. Now, in terms of your normal parliamentary processes, yes, it is procedurally correct that once the panel has made its submission, Parliament must consider it and follow process. The point I'm making is that whatever process they are going to follow, in terms of what I think is the objective analysis of the situation, it should not and cannot lead to a removal. If it does, it will be because there was this predetermined prejudice that has been there.
But
remember,
Mr. Godi, have you had an opportunity to read the report to find out what some of the things that the report says? Effectively, the report says that in instances, in some cases that they've listed there, that they found the Public Protector to have been incompetent and basically incapable of doing her job in that office, especially when it came to her understanding of the law. Now, that is a very serious allegation against her.
No, correct. It is a serious allegation. And actually, I wanted to make that point that that panel did not go through all the reports that she has gone through. The focus is on the judgments, I think on about 4 or so cases, not on the totality of her work. And I think the framing of their report to suggest that on the basis of those judgments that they've looked at, they can therefore cast aspersions on everything else that she has done. I think for me that's a shortcoming. But however, let's look at what they read, which led them to that conclusion. It is the judgment that was passed by the courts. And I think I had said from the beginning that I had a problem with the colorful language that was being used, the unrestrained language that I felt went beyond making a judgment on an issue. And I think relying on that language that was there, I think is problematic because I think there was a lot of subjectivity. After all, judges are human beings. They are not infallible.
What about the fact that South Africans need to be able to trust the institutions that have been created to protect their own interests? Is it not good for democracy and even for the public protector herself for this inquiry to be held, like I said, so that if in the end her name is cleared, South Africans can have full confidence in her and her ability to do the job? Because right now, she's facing serious questions of credibility.
No, I'm in agreement with you in terms of process. I don't have a problem with process because that's what the law provides.
But you can't determine the ending of the process without even knowing what it is that the process will uncover. Effectively, you're saying even if they find that the allegations that have been brought against her are warranted, she must still stay in office, even if she's found to not be capable of doing her job.
My point is, I think the recommendation from the panel, I'm saying it is narrow, it is subjective, it is focused on the court judgments and not on the totality of her work. When 95% of her work is about serving marginalized communities, you can't therefore just take four reports or 4 cases and on the basis of that.
But can you ignore them as well? Can you ignore them? Surely matters of incompetence are not because somebody has done the job well 95% of the time. The fact that 5% of the time when they did not get it right, they got it wrong fundamentally so. I mean, you know, this is an argument that many politicians would be able to use to say, well, yes, we made promises, but we've been able to deliver 3 of the 5 that we promised, so therefore we are not fully incompetent.
No, I hear your argument and the logic of your point, but I'm sure you will agree with me that most of the members of parliament, like the GA and some people in the ANC, have already pronounced themselves on what they expect the outcome to be. And I'm saying that on the basis of the work that she has done from where I'm standing, I mean, that panel only looked at about 4 cases, and to then make a determination on everything else that she has done, I think that was too subjective for me. So I'm saying the process, of course, will unfold, must unfold. But if they are going to look at the totality of the work that she has done and say, this is what you have done so far, including these cases where there have been adverse findings against you, we look at these 4 cases and we look at all these thousands of other cases that you have dealt with and say, cumulatively, this is what we aggregate. I mean, this is not a natural science experiment where you either get it right completely or you get it wrong. It is a process that is going to be determined by members of parliament, where members of society have a view and have a feeling. And it may not be 100%, but at the end of the day, you aggregate and say, the totality of what we have out of what we have done, this is the picture that we have.
Former SCOPA Chairperson Themba Godi, let's leave it there for tonight.